Good morning from Port St. Lucie. This is Professor Tefero for the Leadership course, and this is Lesson 2, a sort of a deeper analysis of some of the great leaders in the history of mankind. What made them great leaders and why were they successful? Let's do leaders from both the East and the West. We'll start with the East, and let's start with Confucius. Confucius was a great leader because he was able to teach his apostles his method of organization and duty to the state, duty to the family, and this went over quite well with the royal courts of China. They liked having obedient people and people who respected the state's authority. In fact, Confucianism is still used in the modern day CCP system, and you can learn about their methods through the Confucian Institutes. However, other than Confucius, there are other great leaders from the East. Muhammad was a great leader. He was able to spread Islam all throughout Saudi Arabia, parts of Africa, parts of Europe, and his teachings live on to this very day. So we'd have to classify him as a great leader. But there's one problem with the great leaders that you will find go across the board when people try to copy them. They run into things called schisms. A schism is when the great leader dies and there are two different schools of thought about what the great leader meant. For example, Jesus Christ died, and you have conservative Christians and you have liberal interpretations of the Bible. No, Jesus Christ meant this. No, Jesus Christ meant that. And the same thing holds true for Islam. And when Muhammad died, you have the Sunnis say, no, Muhammad meant this. And the Shiites will say, no, Muhammad meant this. So those are called schisms, and these are disagreements after the primary mover of the belief system has died. There is usually two schools of thought that divide the group into conservative and liberal aspects of that belief system. Even Confucianism had that problem. You had when Confucius died, you have a liberal interpretation of Confucianism, and then a conservative neo-Confucianist school of thought, which was actually very dominant for the rest of Chinese history and even up to today. The liberal form of Confucianism is not quite so strict. You have the same problems in various religions. In Judaism, for example, you have conservative Jews and you have liberal Jews. So they interpret the Quran, not the Quran. They interpret the Torah in different ways. The conservative Jews will interpret the Torah very, very literally, and the liberal Jews will interpret the Torah with a great deal more flexibility. So, the same thing holds true in modern political systems in the West. George Washington united the United States, the colonies actually at the time, and when he died, people tried to say, well, George Washington would have done it this way. No, George Washington would have done it that way. And those happen to be Democrats and Republicans. So you find a schism in every single belief system in the world. You find two schools of thought for every single belief system in the world. Taoism has philosophical Taoism, and then has superstitious Taoism, where you have 100,000 gods and all kinds of ceremonies. Whereas philosophical Taoism, you just have to be the center of the wheel, be good, no gods, no canon, no laws, no churches, just be a good person and do the right thing. So as you can see, there were several leaders who had several instances of schisms in their followers afterwards. It's not the original person who has the problem. It's the people after the originator dies. Then you have things called schisms, and these are what causes the difficulties in all belief systems. So that's all I wanted to impart to you today, that belief systems are generally split in between two groups, the conservative elements and the liberal elements within the belief system. And next time, we're going to look at the traits of these people and how did they become great leaders and great makers of policy. So until then, this is Professor Tefero from Port St. Lucie, wishing you all a happy and healthy day.